next story. So, as if anybody asked her or wanted her to, Raquel is still yapping away about her experience and trying to play the victim and why she is suing Ariana. So let's dive in. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says Raquel Leviss addressed why she's suing Ariana Madix, called her actions, quote, illegal, and shaded Vanderpump Rules for continuing to bring her up as a storyline. Raquel recently claimed ex-Tom Sandoval screen recorded an intimate video of her amid their affair, while he was still in a relationship with Ariana. Raquel is suing Tom for allegedly recording the video without her consent, and she's suing Ariana for allegedly distributing it. On her Rachel Goes Rogue podcast, the star addressed her lawsuit against Ariana again. Choosing to take legal action was not something that I chose lightly, she explained. I really had to weigh all the pros and cons, and one of the cons was the public's reaction to it. I saw this coming. And that's just something that I had to debate and realize that if I want to seek legal action against Tom, then I also have to seek legal action against Ariana. She went on to say, what I did was not morally right, but recording and distributing a video is also not right. So, they are two separate instances. One is illegal, so that's hard. Raquel explained she feels guilty for potentially causing more pain. But then I also take a look at what I've been through, and what I've been through a lot. And I just don't think that's right or fair or just, she added. If we're all out to hold each other accountable, then I guess I'm doing the same. The star then addressed the criticism that she's continuing to discuss pump rules. So this is the thing. Basically, on her podcast, the only thing she talks about is herself and Vanderpump Rules. That's pretty much it. I don't listen to it. I get clips here and there on TikTok or on things. I'm not giving it a view. I'm not giving it a listen because I'm not trying to support her platform with this. Because like I said before, and then I'll get into more what the article says and what she said. Like I said before, I personally do not view Rachel as a victim. I think she's an opportunist. I think she's just mad because it didn't play out the way she thought it would. I think Rachel really thought that she was going to come out being like the new cool girl, the new queen bee. Her and Tom Sandoval would then be like the power couple on Vanderpump Rules, and she would just be like, and like trump Ariana, stick it to Lala, give it to Katie, stick it to Sheena, and she would be like the new queen of Vanderpump Rules. But the way everything played out, she obviously ended up looking like the court jester and a fool. To me, she's not a victim. I don't know how she thinks she is and won. Now, I will say this. I don't agree. If it is true, because again, these are still allegations. They haven't gone to court yet. If it is true that Tom recorded her in an intimate act without her consent, then yes. In that instance, I do believe that she is a victim of that, because no one, whether you're having an affair or not, should ever do anything to you without your consent, whether it's to you physically, whether it's to you in any type of way, without your consent. So in that instance, yes. But to be honest with you, I don't even think she should take legal action against Tom Sandoval for it. I really don't. She can, of course, that can be her prerogative. But I always kind of think about legal stuff like, what is the real core why of this? Like if Tom had taken it without her consent and put it on, fans only, or put it on the internet, or sent it around to his friends, or threatened to use it against her, then yes, by all means, take him to court and clean him dry, clean him dry if he did any of those things. But it seemed to me more like, and again, I'm not saying Wade was right. I'm not agreeing with it at all. I'm just saying, thinking about things from an objective, rational standpoint, we kind of need to be more rational about what are we taking to court versus what can we just sort of let go of. And if it were me, and again, it's not me, thank God, but if I were in that situation with her, As her, would I feel victimized? Yes. Would I take him to court over it? No. If he had done what I said, the other stuff, then hell yeah, I would take him to court all day long. But given just the context of what's being alleged, no, I wouldn't, because we're already broken up. There's already no more contact. He didn't have any intent to threaten me with it or to blackmail me with it, or he didn't put it online. He didn't distribute it. I would just be like, delete that forever. We're already done. Let's just move on with our lives. And then for me, that's a lesson learned to not put myself, and not that, and when I say this, I want to be very clear. By no means am I saying it is her fault. By no means am I victim blaming. By no means am I saying it's her responsibility. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that would just be a lesson to never put myself in that position again, where someone could record me in an intimate act without my consent or knowledge. But just because you can learn a lesson from something doesn't mean that what happened to you is your fault. I want to be very, very clear with that, because I don't want anyone to hear this and think that if something has happened to them, that they deserved it or it was their fault. That's not true. Okay. But we can take lessons from things that happen to protect ourselves moving forward, but it doesn't mean it was your fault. That's what I would do if I was her when it comes to Tom Sandoval. When it comes to the whole Ariana situation about she distributed it, take the L, Rachel. Just take the L. Rachel is just pissed because Bravo wasn't going to pay her what she thought she deserved. That's really what this is about. To me, this is nothing but a very privileged, spoiled little girl, to quote Mary Cosby, having a temper tantrum and using her privilege and her money and her means to throw that temper tantrum in the court of law. Take the L, Rachel. Leave Ariana alone. You cosplayed in this woman's face. And again, regardless of the state of Ariana and Tom's relationship, Rachel knew exactly what she was doing. She knew they were in a, quote, relationship. Whether it was a good one or a bad one, they were together. She cosplayed in this woman's face like she was her friend the whole time, giving blowies and having sex with her boyfriend, not just behind her back, but in her home. And you want to take this woman to court because she saw you pleasuring yourself on her, at that time's boyfriend, life partner phone? And again, Ariana, to my knowledge, again, these are allegations, so just to my knowledge, I've never seen this video. It's not on TikTok. It's not on Fans Only. It's not on the dark web. It's not on Reddit. It's not on Dumas. Nobody in the public realm has seen this, right? So what exactly is Rachel mad at? Like, what is she mad about? Like, it would be one thing if Ariana took it too far and an anonymous source leaked it to the world and now it's out there. To my personal knowledge, it's not. So what exactly is she mad about? And it doesn't seem like it was like sent around their friend group. It was like, oh, maybe she sent it to Sheena. Maybe she showed it to her. Maybe something in the heat of the moment. Again, just take the L. Everything that happens doesn't need a lawsuit. Even if what the person did, technically, down to the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law, because our law is, for better or for worse, up to interpretation, which is why you get very different sentencings for people for the same exact crime, right? Two people could commit the same exact crime. Somebody might be charged with manslaughter. Somebody might be charged with murder. Same exact crime. Somebody might get life. Somebody might get probation. Same exact crime. Because people are allowed to interpret the law based on the spirit of the law. So just because somebody does something to the letter of the law that might be illegal doesn't mean you need to sue them. Like, Rachel, shut up and take the L. And another reason why I am disgusted by Rachel and I'm so tired of her trying to pretend like she's a victim is because everything she's done since Sandoval has dropped has been self-serving. And I'm not saying that she can't go out and get her bag. I'm not saying that she can't go out and, do what she needs to do to get her money or whatever it is. But how are you mad at Vanderpump Rules using you as a storyline when now your entire brand and everything you do is based on Vanderpump Rules? You're mutually using each other, because without Vanderpump Rules, we wouldn't know who you are, Rachel. Like, hello. And your whole podcast is about Vanderpump Rules. Now, this is what she says. She says, but I then also take a look at what I've been through. Oh, we already went to that. I would like to stay away from Vanderpump Rules. Unfortunately, this show is still bringing me up as a topic of discussion, as a storyline point, she said. So it's only natural for me to want to not only defend myself, but share my experience with this, because there's more to the story than just this black and white. This is a villain. This is a hero, and that's it. It's way more nuanced than that. To be honest with you, she's delusional, because the show, it really hasn't been talking about her. It's really been more talking about Tom. They rarely bring her up, and I don't think they even really use her name, other than like if James or Sandoval are kind of being like, oh, Raquel said this and blah, blah, blah. But she herself really is not a storyline. It's really more about Tom Sandoval's, is this a redemption arc for him or not? That's really what the storyline is this season. Can Tom Sandoval be redeemed? That is the story arc. And, if you guys are writers out there or storytellers, especially in like script or anything like that, that you always have story A, story B, story C, right? And so story A will be like the main story that goes from the first episode, that's the big question in episode 1 that gets resolved at the very end episode. And then baked in, you have a story B, a story C, a story D, all of that stuff, right? So story A is really not about Rachel, because she's not there. Story A this season is, and it's always formed in a question, can Tom Sandoval be redeemed? That is the big story arc. Has nothing really to do with Rachel. She's not there. So her whole thing about I need to defend myself and they're using it as a storyline, well, duh, because what you did affected the people who are still there. Of course, Katie is still going to talk about it, and Ariana is going to talk about it, and Lala's going to talk about it, and Sandoval is going to talk about it, and Schwartz is going to talk about it, and Joe is going to talk about it, because what you did affected all of these people. And this is the gag. And again, why I don't think she's a victim in all of this, and she needs to just stop suing people and kind of quietly go away, is nobody asked you to do this, Rachel. Like, it would be one, and then she tries to like villainize the production and Bravo and blah, blah, blah. And she has such a disdain for Ariana. Rachel, why are you mad at Ariana? She was like the only one who was like nice to you. Why are you so mad at her? You're mad at her because you thought you were going to have her life, and that's not what ended up happening for you. Girl, you thought you were going to move into that big old mansion with Tom and sell into the sunset, and that didn't happen, did it? You thought you were going to be the queen of Vanderpump Rules. That didn't happen, did it? This is the gag, Rachel, and this is why, again, you're not a victim. Nobody asked you to do this. Andy Cohen, Lisa Vanderpump, Alex Baskin, Bravo, NBC, Shed Media. Nobody asked you. Nobody said, hey, you know what would be a great storyline? If you were having sex with Tom Sandoval behind Ariana's back. If you do that, we'll make you a star. No, nobody asked you. You did that with your own big girl panties on. You did that when they weren't even filming the show. You did that literally off the clock, off camera, on your own accord. So why are you now mad? Nobody told you to do that. That was a decision you made. And also, you're a grown adult. Like, you're almost 30. Get it together. It's like you have the fantasy in your mind. It's like the Taylor Swift effect, where people always think that Taylor Swift is like some young girl who's like, I'm just singing about my high school boyfriend. It's like, no, Taylor, you're like 35 or 30, whatever, however she is. Like, you're a grown woman. Get it together, So it's just disgusting. It's absolutely just disgusting. And I'm just not here for it. I think it's really sad and really pathetic that she's still trying to malign and go after any of these people when nobody told you to bust it open for Tom. You busted it open for him all by yourself. Girl, bye. So let's see. Let's see if she said anything else interesting. So she goes on to say, though she chose to stop being an active participant on the show, Raquel said the series is bringing me in involuntarily. We've already covered that. Of course they are, because this is a reality show and it would make no sense if they didn't talk about reality. I have no choice what they say about me, she explained, but with time, I will be removed from Vanderpump Rules, and I honestly don't feel like I'm missing the cast members of the show. I think I'm sharing things honestly and being reflective of my own relationship that I've had with certain people from more of a healed place. Having my own podcast is part of what makes me feel so empowered today, that I get to reclaim my narrative, she added. I get to, as much as possible, take away, Vanderpump Rules' power to create whatever narrative they want about me, which they're doing anyway. I feel like it's very unrealistic to expect somebody to completely disconnect and disassociate from something that has been so integral to their development of who they are today. Shut up, Rachel, shut up. You're literally talking about the fact that you chose to have a sexual affair with a man that you knew was in a relationship, and you chose to pretend to be that man's girlfriend's friend, dear best friend. Those are all the decisions that you made by yourself. I don't think Tom Sandoval, brainwashed her or, rhymes with broomed her. I don't think all that. I don't think Tom Sandoval has that much mystical, magical power. As we see, look at him. He's pathetic. He's not this big mastermind. He really isn't. He's kind of this sort of like weaselly, low self-esteem, narcissistic qualities, always chasing something, looking for worth guy. He's not this diabolical mastermind. He's really kind of weaselly and pathetic when you really look at him. I think she was more than a willing participant because she thought she was going to be the star. She thought she was going to get over on all the girls and become the star. I think she was very much a willing participant. But I want to know what you guys think, put it down below. What do you think about, Rachel having her podcast and talking about everybody every single week? What do you think about her suing Ariana and suing Tom? Yeah, let me know what you think. Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's get more into